Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. I'm Bobby.
I'm Amanda.
I was fighting a sneeze through that entire intro. I almost blew the whole thing, but here we are. I mean, there's logic. How was your guys' weekends?
Busy. Super busy, but what's new? But I did get a lot of gaming in this week, so I'm excited about that. How about you, Amanda?
Mine was also busy. Yeah, Thursday I drove through a few storms, but I missed the worst one and landed in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And it's been pretty busy just kind of getting things ready and starting work. I'm sure the listeners can already pick up that I've entered into the Steel City, and it sounds like I'm talking through steel walls. So I'm sorry, it's the phone and the internet, and I'm working on the stuff as best as I can.
I don't think I. There was a period of time when I moved into an area called Allied Gardens in San Diego, and I didn't have internet. I was stealing my neighbor's because he was using this really old encryption, and it was pretty easy to get past that. And it was like 600 megabytes down, like 600 megs down. That was it. And I lived with that for like over a year. And I'd hang out with this guy too. I never told him I was stealing his internet, but he'd be like, "Man, my internet's slow," because I was like using it all the time. I'm like, "Yeah, you should probably upgrade, bro." And he never did. It drove me crazy. But I was pretty broke back then, and it was like free internet for a year, free shitty internet. For
I'm sure it affected your sex life too, that slow internet porn.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It didn't affect gaming.
No?
It didn't affect gaming at all.
At the time,
that
yeah.
was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And then for me, I worked yesterday, and I'm going back tomorrow.
yeah.
The cycle continued. Woo! Let's go. But what what did break up the monotony was the video games that I played. But first, we're going to talk about some that are on the radar, came to our attention, we have not played or played very little of.
All right. First one we're going to start off with is HELLCARD. So this is a game that was suggested to me because I've been playing so many card-based combat games like Monster Train. This one just came out February 16th, and it is a co-op deck building roguelike. They say the interesting thing about this, like what they do different than the other ones out there, is that positioning actually matters on this one. And it's not most of these games you just see like the characters side to side, like it's a 2dimensional layout, but this one has more of a 3D map, so it's got a little bit more of like a turn-based tactics element to it. It could be good, and it says it's based in the Book of Demons universe, which I've never played, but it sounded really familiar.
I've played it.
Yeah, I looked it up, and you gave it a positive review on Steam, apparently.
Yeah, I liked it. I don't remember how much I played of it. It was kind of like a Diablo clone, where everything was instant. It was the same thing. Like you have the town, and then you go in, you adventure, you come back, and you build up the town. It was one of the earlier games that did that, from what I remember. What I like about I actually already wishlist this. For those lucky gals that want to try to get in my pants, you can buy me this one. Usually these. I want to call it grid based, but it doesn't look grid based. It's different. It's like, it's a circle.
You're in the center of a
you're
circle,
in the center,
and the enemies are coming in towards you.
It's almost like a wave survival, is what it reminds me of. I
Yeah.
think they're probably moving in towards you, and you have to get rid of them as they're coming in. Is what I'm thinking. But yeah, it's and there's three different colors on the floor. I don't know if those are for tactical reasons, or maybe each character has one color. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I already wishlisted this one.
I'm sure it's some sort of mechanic. But yeah, you can buy it. It's in early access. It's on sale for $18 right now, typically $20.
Bobby, can you click on the developer, please? Because
Thing Trunk.
I saw something aliens related. Go down. Maybe I'm crazy. Aliens?
Demons?
Yeah. Book of Aliens? What is that?
Book of Aliens? Well, it's not Aliens, the franchise.
Oh, okay. I was thrown off.
Aliens
All
invade Paperverse. They keep referencing this Paperverse because all their graphic style is like this pop-up book, cardboard cutout type of animation.
Yeah, now that you say that, it does remind me of the Book of Demons. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, cool. HELLCARD, check it out.
I can't read mine. I forgot what it is. Because there's a pop up.
We don't have sniper today, by the way.
Yeah.
So be
We don't
prepared.
have sniper, so things are worse, but we don't have Nick, so things are better. Hey,
There you go.
It's gonna cancel each other out.
Pacific Drive. I saw this. I instantly loved it. So you have this old beater station wagon. Oh, I wanted to say this, Days. You said almost like every other week, you're like, I drove through another storm. I was just thinking, like in World of Warcraft, when you do certain achievements, you get like a title. You'd be like Amanda Storm Driver, dude. Because like,
Ooh,
right?
I do like that. Yeah, and I've got some wild storm stories too of driving through them. I think the craziest is the desert, dude. Desert storms are the worst, I think.
Yeah, because what are those called when water like a flood comes out from anywhere? It's crazy.
A flash flood?
The flash flooding, yeah.
They have a name for them in Arizona, and there's signs everywhere. Like most people that die in Arizona in car crashes is from water, because it just comes out of nowhere. Chinooks or something like that. Anyway, Pacific Drive. You got this beater station wagon, and you're in this kind of like post-apocalyptic, real strange. The machines have taken over this forest, it looks like, or this area that you're in, and you're working out of this garage, and you're constantly driving around and upgrading your station wagon and trying to get more parts for it. And I think eventually you want to escape the forest, but I think the way it's set up is like you're in the middle of the forest, and you could only get so far with the first version of the station wagon. So, and then you also need to work on it as when you're out in the field. So, you know, if it breaks, you got to fix whatever's wrong with it out there. And then the bad guys are, it range from all kinds of, they set up traps for you. And anyway, just check it out. It's called Pacific Drive. And yeah, I think it looks very cool.
All right, coming out 2023. That's so funny. This reminds me of, in the town that I grew up in, there was this guy named Tommy, and he would drive around this old 50s station wagon that looked just like the Ghostbusters car. It had all this stuff on it, and he would just like help people that were broken down on the side of the road. And I don't know why. Just like a nice guy who wanted to do that sort of thing.
The answer is meth, Bobby. He just wanted to work on shit.
No, he was a really nice guy. He used to work on my car because I used to have an old car, and
He wouldn't charge people for this?
well, I mean, driving around helping people, no, he wouldn't. But for working on a car, yeah, he would charge people. And what's funny is my sister now lives 2 houses down from him, same street. So I drive by his place all the time.
That's cool.
But yeah, and this station wagon with all the modifications totally reminded me of that. In some of the shots, it almost looks like the DeLorean. There's all this stuff on the outside, like all these capacitors and wires.
Yeah, I think they actually do things too. Because I think you need type of like EMP bombs and stuff like that to try to combat these. But I did not get the sense of a car combat game. It's mostly running away. So I think there's probably a lot of things on the car that help you get away, like, you know, smoke bombs and stuff like that. So, yeah, and I love games where the progression is visual. I really love, since the very first games, that like your armor actually changes when you get new armor, to any game like that like Binding of Isaac, where you can see the mutations physically on your character. And then this one, you know, takes it to another level where every little thing that you put on your car looks different. So, but there's only one thing, you know, I don't think there's a physical person. There's no body. So the only thing in the game is the environment and this car. So they just put all the pixels on that car, basically. Art-wise, it kind of looks like Firewatch a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right,
What do you got,
Days, we
Days?
got Romancelvania.
Yeah, so Burn Division posted this in our On the Radar section of Discord, which if you want to post something on the radar as well, we might cover it, we might not. But you can post it, and there's a good chance we will. in our On the Radar section on Discord, which you can find at dlgaming.net. So Romancelvania is a combination of a platformer, or it's not a side-scrolling action platformer, and a tongue-in-cheek romance. And it's together. So apparently you are Drac, and after a century of moping around, you're heartbroken. They throw you into a monster reality dating show hosted by the
Oh my
Grim
God.
Reaper. And so you explore Transylvania's countryside and slay absurd, as they put, baddies, looking for eligible monsters. And so you can fall in love with a monster, which there you go, and you can watch it unfold on the reality show, which is interesting. So I don't know, this truthfully, I probably won't play this, but I thought that this was pretty hilarious when I saw this posted on here, and Bird Division posted, like, they got like a witch pumpkin chick with huge pumpkin titties. I think that's kind of hilarious. Like, that's
Yikes.
great.
Yeah, visually it's hilarious. The combat looks pretty weak, I gotta admit, but
Yeah.
uh,
Well, it's
yeah,
got platformer combat, which is interesting because it's a dating sim, but it's also got this 2D side scroller element to it.
seems like the majority of it is the 2D side scrolling, but hilarious, so funny.
I think it's an interesting combo, like, I feel like we've seen a lot of platformers. Like, platformers is really common and kind of overdone. And so I think it's always nice to me to see like a unique one, and I feel like combining it with a dating sim and then making it like a dark comic is also kind of fun and awesome.
Drac kind of looks like Giga Chad. He's ultra handsome. Do you guys know what
Oh,
Giga
yeah.
Chad is?
No.
No. You could do a. You've seen it, dude. It's like this, like exaggerated machismo guy. This guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I've never seen that. Is that a real person? Or is
It's
this
just
like
ripped.
Yeah, I think it's like
Yeah, that shit
enhanced.
doesn't look real.
Yeah.
It's enhanced. Yeah.
Uh,
So this game is coming out soon, and the developers Deep End Games, which looks like they made another game called Perception, but yeah, so look out for it. Like I said, it's coming out soon.
nice. All right. And then the last game we got, Company of Heroes 3. I saw this. I was thinking of putting this on there because I've never played a Company of Heroes game, but I had a friend who just got obsessed with one of them and like lost his life to the game pretty much.
I played the first one. It's. I think it was my first introduction to small squad RTS. So you have like a group of 4 dudes, and when you have small groups like that, it makes it a little more intimate because like each guy has 1 grenade, and you have to keep track of like each guy with how many grenades they have. I don't know about part 3. I know it's still small squad combat, and you might have 3 of these squads, so up to 12 guys. Dawn of War 2, I was super excited about. We were talking about last week how I love Dawn of War 1. And what they did was they went from giant, armies of 20, 30 per squad and then they just whittle it down to what this is, like 4 or 5 guys, real small. And, there's advantages to it, but Company of Heroes was the first one that did it very well. And as I was going to put this on, I put it on here because it comes out in like 4 days. The reason I put it on, as I was putting this on, I realized I haven't even played part 2. So I went and looked at part 2. It has an 80% on reviews, which is pretty good. And it's $20. So I put it on my wish list. Maybe, I'd rather go through that than pay whatever $60 or $70 this is going to be. There's no price on it right now. But it has quite the reputation because these games are usually very, very good. And part 1, like I said, was did something original, I believe. I might be wrong. Have you ever played anything with a small squad, Bobby?
Like an RTS
Like
with
RTS?
the small squad?
Yeah.
Not really, no.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of them. But yeah, it makes it cool. So Company of Heroes 3, it's in the Mediterranean theater of World War I? I think so. Yeah, one, right? Because one was in Africa. Everything looks really old. So I think it's World War One. Jeez, I don't even know, man. Might be World War Two because it has the Italians. Anyways, um, a company is made up of not just one. It's one nation, but it has help from the other nations. So the British have the Australians and the a few other nationalities in there, and the Germans have the Italians with them, and they each have very distinct groups. So the video that I watched, like they're like, let's show you 3 ways to get through this campaign, and so or this one mission. So they used a different company for each one, and it was completely different tactics so that you could go through. So one was more like using a bunch of ground troops. One had airplanes, and one had artillery. And it was like 3 different missions, even though it was the same mission. So yeah, these have very long and well thought out campaigns. It's in my eyes, these have always been like more campaign based than multiplayer based, although it does have that as well. And that's how I like to play RTS. I put it on easy, and I put it on single player. It's the only way I can play. I just get too fumbled up.
Well, this game does have a price tag. It is $60, and it's coming out February 23rd, so
Yeah.
very soon.
Very soon.
There was some really old Yahtzee game review. Yahtzee Croshaw,
Yeah.
that guy, the Australian. And he described RTS as, of course, it's not going to sound funny when I say it. It always sounds funny when he says it. But he described RTS or the way he plays them, as just selecting all his guys and then clicking on the thing he wants to die. And it's funny because you're in RTSs, you're supposed to micromanage, and it's such a. I get kind of frustrated with the genre because I'm just like, this is not an enjoyable experience. Like micromanaging all these different units and their spells and everything. Like I just feel like it's a poor design. And most people play it just like that. They just select all their units and right click on that one, kill that one, and then kill that one, and I don't know. But people like them, people play them.
Yeah, you have to on something like this. You have to be a lot more strategic because when you only have 12 human beings, if you lose 1 or 2, that's a huge hit to your squad. So and like I said, and ammo's an issue and all that stuff. It's easier to micromanage when you only have a micro team. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it.
Less
Anyway.
units to.
That's true.
About.
Yeah, this would be tough. I like RTSs a lot, and I do actually like micromanaging the team, but usually not with. I feel like if you get more than 6, it's kind of difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. This might have made it a lot bigger. I'm seeing a lot of units on screen, but I don't know. Maybe I'll play part 2 and get back to you guys.
Well, speaking of RTSs, I played one this week. Let's move on to highlights, the games that we have played. This is just going to be really short, but I finally beat Warcraft III, Reign of Chaos, not Frozen Throne. So since the Reforged edition that came out in, 2018, I have been slowly working away at beating this game on hard, which I've never done, actually. I've played this game lots of times, like start to finish. And I don't think I've ever played it on hard, and it is actually really hard.
Were you slowly progressing because you were losing a lot, or just because you don't play very often?
Because I don't play very often, but it also does take a long time to get through the campaign mode because the levels are designed to take a long time, like 30 minutes, sometimes could be an hour. They're difficult too, so some of them I would have to save frequently and go back and start over. For instance, the last mission, it's hold out for 45 minutes, like just a wave survival for 45 minutes. And it's after you've played all 3 different races, the Night Elves, the Orcs, the Humans, and now they've banded together against, Illidan and the Undead the bad guys. And you've got to control each base and defend like wave after wave. But any way you go about it, it's going to take at least 45 minutes because the timer starts, so you can't really, someone, they speed run this game, and there's a way that I think you can, skip part of it, or they may have like said, okay, we're only doing these levels. Like they actually just skipped some of the levels just so it wasn't a ridiculously long
Right.
speed run.
Like they skipped the
Yeah, like
necessary timed ones.
yeah. They're like, we're just gonna speed run like the orc campaign or something like that. But I remember seeing it in one of these games done quick events. Um, the saving was kind of a pain in the ass because you really have to be on top of it. You have to save yourself, and if you fail a mission, like you could have lost like 30 minutes of your life right there. You got to go all the way back to the beginning and start over. So, what I noticed when I started the Frozen Throne campaign, which was the DLC to Warcraft 3, it auto saves like frequently, like multiple times during the level, and I don't know why they didn't do that with Reign of Chaos and the in the Reforged edition. It seems strange to me, but at least they're doing it in Frozen Throne because that was annoying.
Did you, when you played the campaign, did you largely use the same strategy and got you all the way through, or did you have to? Was it thought out enough that
Well,
you
in the
have to?
campaign, like you don't have an option. It's not just like multiplayer where you just choose a race and then you start from one base and three workers and build on up. Like it'll be a mission like, okay, you get this hero and these characters and you have to go from point A to
Gotcha.
B, and then when you get here you get a few more. They kind of tailor the experience.
You know,
But
Bobby, talking about saves, you said something last week that has stuck with me a little bit. Daikatana had a thing where there was like save crystals, and you had to
yeah.
like collect them in order to earn a save. I think the concept sounds juicy to me, dude. Like I kind of the concept of earning your save point is pretty cool without it being a save point that you reach. It's kind of what would
Yeah,
happen.
and I'm
With,
trying
like,
to think if other games have done that too.
I can't think of one. Do they drop off of enemies? Is that what it is?
No, you have to find them like secrets in the level.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
that. See, I don't like that as much.
Yeah, you have to like locate them. I'm wondering. I don't think Turok did this. I think they had like you could just save whenever, but there was something else. Like Turok had this really weird system where you had to find keys in order to unlock areas, and that was a pain. But yeah, people did not like the save gem thing. But I swear another game must have tried something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's Warcraft 3. Still a good game, and I don't mind the Reforged edition. Like, had I had known what it was going to be, I don't know if I would have like pre-purchased it. But they let you zoom out a lot further than like the normal Warcraft game, which I'm sure you can do all that with mods anyway. But I
It,
don't know.
is it flat out better in every way than the original?
Yeah, I think you can mod the original to be just like Reforged in most ways. But it saves you the hassle of doing it, I suppose.
Yeah. Days, what's going on with Hogwarts? Did you finish it?
I did not. I still love it. And I don't want to like I still want to spoil too much crazy stuff, but I keep playing it, and like every time that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start getting bored of this, something new happens, and I'm like, shit, dude, it's still happening. I'm level 34, I think, and I've gotten pretty far. I've done the third trial, and for people that don't know what the hell that means, there's like these special different like kind of puzzle test trials that you have to go through um, to unlock different parts of history. And that's kind of all I'm going to say without spoiling too much. But it is cool and it is challenging. There's different things of fighting and like solving puzzles and stuff in each of these. And there was a huge shift in the third trial of how different it was. And it was so fucking cool. It just totally flipped the game on its head. And I said, I don't want to spoil it since it's still out or it's still pretty newly out, I guess. But I'm really enjoying it, man. Like I'm loving it. Like I feel like I've unlocked a lot. The only person I know that is a lot further than me was SOCOM, and he showed me a bit of his stuff, and it's just like inspiring because there's so much still to the game, and
Nice.
it's like I'm more than 50 hours in, and there's so much more still. So it's awesome.
It's not just you. I mean, everyone that I've talked to loves this game. Everyone. Chad texted me randomly. He's like, I think this is the perfect game for me. And I was like, yep. Days keep saying it's so good. Fastidia said he's enjoying it. Just everyone. I haven't heard a negative thing. I think it's getting to the point where like you don't even have to know anything or even like Harry Potter to enjoy this game.
And I know a lot of people are streaming it, and I've tried to watch some of the streams, but I don't know if it's a very streamable game.
Yeah, I
You
feel
have to
like
watch a long time because I'll tune
yeah.
in and it'll just be someone picking out their wand for like 15 minutes, and it's just not super
Oh
entertaining.
yeah, you gotta watch when somebody's in some action for sure. Because
Hmm.
even the combat, like it's really fun to watch the combat. I would imagine for streaming though, because there is a lot of variety and combos and things that you can do. One of my favorites is you can transform somebody into an explosive barrel and then launch that into another person and kill them both, which is so fucking epic. Like,
Sounds
so
awesome.
fantastic. You can pull somebody in, make them float up, like flip them over, like, and then just completely knock them back and explode, or like a fire, like I'm thinking of Bombardo, which is like an explosive shot basically at them. It's just awesome. There's so many ways that you can do the combat and so many ways that you can do things. I really can't wait to finish on my Ravenclaw and then make a Slytherin and almost role play with it and just make her like the meanest bitch ever who just hides and like tries to Petrificus Totalis everybody and kill them in one shot. I
uh,
think that'd be a lot of fun.
Bobby, would you play it on like Family Share or something?
I'd check it out. I don't know if I'd follow through with it.
I have access it through Daisy's account. I might give it a shot, but I'm very busy with Returnal right now. That just came out a couple days ago, I think. I was on the I wasn't really on the fence. I was like, this game's too expensive. I'm not going to pay $60 for this, even though I've always had my eye on it since they declared it for PC. And John bought it for me because it turns out it has co-op for this version of it. I don't know if there's co-op on the original or maybe they added it recently, but with the release of the PC version, there is now multiplayer. And we actually got to play for about an hour today, although he was yelling at his kids most of the time because they would not go to sleep. Um, but so let me talk about what it is. It is what I had been. Well, I'm going on a roll here, man. This is like 3 weeks in a row where I've predicted all of this. It wasn't so much a prediction as I was asking and wondering why it had not been done. It's a AAA roguelike. Why has nobody really tried it? And I guess because it's a huge investment, but it's already a tried and true genre, or at least a function of a game. You know, now there's been what hundreds of them and huge successes. So anyway, this developer, I forget their name, they took a risk, and I think it paid off. It mostly has better reviews. It's like at 80 percentile, something's 90%. So people like it. It has a few flaws to it. It's a third person bullet hell roguelike. So you're on this alien world and you crash land there. And as you play through the first time, you're also finding dead bodies of yourself. And those dead bodies sometimes have tape recordings of, right before they died and stuff like that. So the story is told through subsequent deaths, much like Hades or Deathloop. And so it's an interesting way of telling a story. You get it fragmented, and sometimes you get things out of order, I think. But overall, you're like, what the hell exactly is going on here? Especially when you encounter yourself and you kill yourself. And she kind of freaks out and she's like, was that a demon or something? Or was it another person just like me just trying to escape and I just killed her? Like, it's hard. I don't know yet if you're clones of each other or how that's all working. I've only played, what, probably 3 hours, but I played maybe 3 run-throughs, something like that. So I'm not getting a whole lot of story. And then her childhood home was, or no, her home from Earth was just magically in the one of the levels, and so something about her mind is going. and affecting the world. The world itself is like kind of Geiger-esque in a way, like a low-key Geiger mixed with a little bit of like xenomorphs. And like I said, bullet hell. Bullet hell from a third-person perspective is a really strange thing, you know. I've never seen it before, really, except for maybe maybe in like a spaceship game where you're like flying forward and a lot of bullets are coming in a third-person perspective. I think there's been games like that. There was something like that on the Genesis or something. But anyway, yeah, you're controlling a person with a gun and a rocket booster, and you've got like millions of these glowing balls coming at you, and you got to dodge them all. The action is definitely the best part of this game. It looks great. I would say the downside is it's more of a rogue-like than it is a roguelite in that, like, there's not a whole lot of persistent things between runs. So you could play for like an hour and not really achieve anything towards the end goal of the game. That being said, the action's so much fun that like I don't really care.
Do you start all the way back at the beginning?
Yeah, every time.
Right.
But you know the things that like a grappling hook, something that will get you across a chasm, those things persist. So next time you come to a chasm, you can get across it. Or I got the katana or the sword or whatever, and now I can chop down certain barriers. I always restart with that. So yeah, there's like 4 or 5 items, maybe more, that are persistent. Everything else pretty much is all run based. There's no currency, there's no unlocks, nothing. So it is hard, very, very hard. On top of that, there's a bonus called adrenaline, which I think you do more damage when your adrenaline's up, or you unlock your weapon abilities faster when you're. Anyway, that goes away as soon as you get hit. So not only are you penalized by almost dying, but your adrenaline drops, and then you lose whatever bonus you have. So this game is really trying to get you to not get hit at all, and it is hard because they're coming from all angles. Some of them teleport. The first, I actually played a long time without dying for the first time. I talked to John because he's played this on a PS5. I guess now he's bought 3 copies of this game. Like, he really likes this game.
Oh, wow.
He has it for the PS5. Then he bought it for PC just so he could play with me. Oh, and bought me a version. And the multiplayer worked great. Like, no problems connecting with each other. No latency. It was really cool. But he was like shocked how far I got without dying for the first time. And I think it's my theory that this game is a little bit easier on mouse and keyboard because of the aiming. Like, obviously, it's much more precise. He was complaining that the movement is much worse on the mouse and keyboard. But yeah, the shooting is better. But even though it's air quotes here, easier, it's a fucking really hard game, but it's rewarding in that the action itself is like, I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to play this before I get bored. I'm really, really enjoying it. So cool. I don't care that much. I mean, there is a mystery, but you could take the story completely out of this game, and I would not care. It's more about the action. So,
well, this game is full price, $60, and it is excluded from Steam Family Sharing.
yeah, that's because you have to connect to. Oh, I thought it was very strange. It connects to Epic, and Epic connects to fucking Sony.
That's weird.
Yeah, really weird. Yeah. So my Epic, it did automatically, and I didn't have a Sony account, so then I had to make a Sony account, and then that's it. I haven't seen any in my subsequent plays, and nothing's popped up since then. So, but it is strange. Yeah. I wouldn't say 10 out of 10, but really enjoying it. Maybe 8.5.
It's no Hogwarts Legacy.
It's no Hogwarts Legacy. I'm actually looking forward to your review of this, Bobby.
And by this, we're talking about Monster Train: The Last Divinity. This is the DLC for Monster Train. Picked it up last week, and I've been playing a lot of it. And, I read the reviews, and it's funny because sometimes I don't read any negative reviews, but I read a positive review responding to the negative reviews. Like I saw
Cut to the chase.
one review that was like to all you to everybody that's complaining about this and that, you know, and
Yeah.
then they go on to like to their rebuttal, and I'm like, well, who's saying that? I haven't heard anybody say this or that. But this game or this review was talking about the changes made by this DLC and how some people don't like them. I thought they were really good. So there's a couple major changes here. There's the new class, the Wormkin, and the best way I can describe these guys is they operate kind of like a rogue. You build up energy points and then you spend those energy points. So there's 3 layers to this game, 3 layers to the train. The enemies move up and then they get to your crystal and destroy it. So imagine on those 3 rows, you have like energy points that you can, cards build them up and then other cards spend them to do things. And it reminds me of like the rogue in WoW, how you build up the energy points and then you use them. So that's the best comparison I can make. I really enjoy the class. I've been trying really hard to make a spell deck work with them, and I have not been able to beat it, but I think that's because of the other mechanic they've introduced into this. They have another... it's not a currency. You can spend... you can get even better upgrades, but it raises this level... And if that level gets to, I think the max is 150, but 100 makes things a lot more difficult. So basically, it makes you stronger, but it also makes them stronger. You can merge cards together, like morph them together, like take some abilities from this character and apply it to like another unit, which is cool. But it causes that level to rise. What do they call that here? Packed shards. That's what they call it. Yeah, so it's I don't know. I enjoy it. I don't mind it, but it also it's kind of a treadmill effect. Like, yeah, I'm stronger, but so are the enemies. So like, what's the net gain here? Like,
I guess that you're trying to that your strategy by upgrading those are greater than the numeric.
Well, it's another dial to turn in the whole thing. Like they used to talk about this when they were trying to balance characters in HOTS. Like the more types of mechanics or different things you have, the more dials you can turn, and for the player that creates more options as well. So yeah, I can make a judgment call like, okay, this is going to raise this like the enemy levels this much, but is it worth it? Is it going to give me a bigger advantage
Exactly.
if I do this? And you can turn all this stuff off too on the main screen. Like you can play without this. The last thing that they've added to this is the end boss, which I don't think I've gotten to yet. I think you have to beat. If you get up to 100 on packed shards, then you are eligible to fight the end boss. But I think you have to beat the last boss of the train first and then get to him. And I haven't gotten that far yet. I haven't done a run where I haven't got 100 packed shards yet. I always just end up taking them, and maybe that's what's killing me. Or it's random too. I just haven't got a deck that has worked. It sucks because I keep trying to do the same deck, and that's kind of the wrong way to play a game like this because you got to embrace the randomness. You got to play with the cards you're dealt, so to speak. So I'm just trying to like force this like huge wombo, like play one card, do 900 damage kind of deck, but it just...
If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, if it's not happening, then it's not going to happen. Plus, sometimes I'll get to the last boss, and he gets like a random buff, and sometimes the random buff will be like, apply Consume to the first spell you cast, and Consume makes the card go into the discard pile. So I also do like low decks, like 16 cards, so... pretty quick, all my cards are going to be gone there, and it totally screwed me. And I played through the an entire round, and then got to the end, and I saw that, and I'm like, oh well, I'm done. That totally counters my deck.
You've never, air quotes, beat the game, the original game?
Oh no, I beat it. Yeah,
bunch of times, right?
The way the original game works is you beat it once, and then you go up to like another level. I can't remember what they call the levels, and then it makes things a little more difficult. And then if you beat that, then you're eligible for the next level. So, and you can see where everybody's at, which is really cool. So I'm on level 8, which means I've beaten the game
7 times.
not just 8 times. I could have beaten it more and played on lower difficulties, but I've beaten the game like 8 times on harder difficulties. And I think, oh man, there's somebody on my friends list who's like at 15 or 16, and that's the highest one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's Jiffy or maybe it's Rusty Bagels. But
I remember when I was playing, like you can, isn't this the game when you pass them on high score, you can see their name? Like, yeah, it's pretty cool in that way.
Yeah, it makes it kind of competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I just need to focus on not using the pack shards and getting that level up. But I'm really enjoying it. I love this game. I think it's my favorite of all the card-based combats, although I only have about 50 hours in this game, and I've got like 110 in Slay the Spire, apparently. I didn't realize I had that much. But I really like this one.
The other one, Bobby, the one that has the conversation deck and the combat deck. Did that get its 1.0 release?
Grifflin's?
Grifflin's, yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. It must have by now. Yeah, that one's got way more of a story, and that one has 2 types of combat: the actual like physical fighting combat and
Dialogue.
it's like, what do they call it? It's like argument or persuasion or something. But yeah, it's like
I still got to play that, man.
That's a good one. And I still got to play Tainted Grail, too. But
yeah,
there's a lot of these games out there.
Or Inscription, dude. I think you'd really like Inscription, too.
I didn't realize that was a...
Yeah, it's a card game.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's very strange, though.
Okay.
It's very strange. But it's very good because the story, you're locked in a cabin with this guy that... Oh, man, he's so creepy, too. He changes, depending on what he's doing, he changes his mask, and all of them are creepy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's by the guys who made that, Pony Island or something, or Pony Express, like that really weird game.
But both of those are on my PC, so you can play them.
Okay. Yeah, Pony Island. That was a weird one.
We still have Family Share, yeah?
Yep.
So
Still working.
look at that. Overwhelmingly positive. 80,000 reviews.
Yeah.
Man.
No, it was an incredibly popular game.
I know. What's the last time I've seen that? I don't even know.
It's
I think
insane.
God of War was 50,000. But yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for highlights. We don't have any listener questions or subs to announce, so this is going to be a quick one. But
You guys are slacking out there, man.
anybody want to plug something?
Not on the spot. Well, you could always go to our website, dlgaming.net. Right from there, you can find merch and Patreon and all kinds of photos of us. And if you are wondering about an older game, you can use a search and find a hotkey or a word or whatever and find what episode that was. It doesn't have a timestamp, but you can listen to an old episode and laugh at our stupidness.
All right. Well, what's everyone playing next week?
Returnal. Sure. Oh, and I'm going to Iowa. So depending on what day of the week, I'm going to Iowa to go see JP Diddy, my gay lover. It's very cold over there, so we're going to keep each other warm. And yeah, depending on what day we do the podcast, that means how much, I mean, strictly on the books is like drinking, eating, and video games. That's it. So, yeah, hopefully we do it later in the weekend so that I have more time to play video games. Because I'll be there from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know what time I leave Sunday. So we have to figure it out.
All right.
A lot of co-op stuff.
Nice.
Nice.
What about you, Days? What's your plan?
Oh, probably a lot more of Hogwarts Legacy or playing the game of getting the fuck outside and touching grass.
Touching grass. All right. I don't know what I'm going to play this week. We'll see. It'll be a surprise.
Inscription and Tainted Grail, dude. We just went over it.
All right. I'll play one of these. Yeah, for sure. I'll play
Cool.
one of these games. I forgot to mention, I mentioned this like a couple weeks ago, but that I was going to be building a computer or teaching someone to build a computer, my friend's stepson. And I did that yesterday, and it went really well. this kid's like 8 years old, right?
Mhm.
So, but he was totally into it, and,
Nice.
like was all about it, and like I had him do all the stuff, and I kind of talked him through it and explained like what this and that was, and we got it built, got windows on there.
I bet his tiny hands really helped, actually. You know what I mean? Like, my big fucking mitts, dude, I can't ever get those little screws. It takes me forever.
Yeah, no, it's a pain, man. And the worst part about building any computer is always putting in the little pins for like the power LED or the power switch and the reset switch. A lot of nice motherboards, this is so great when they do this, but they'll include this little block where you can plug those pins into, and then you plug that block into the pins on the motherboard. So it makes it so much easier. More motherboards need to do that. But it was,
Legos now come with a little separating device. That thing's so good, dude.
oh yeah, it's like you got to have that. You know, just the other day I was looking at, like, speaking of hardware, I saw this power supply where it was modular, you know, where you plug in just the cables you need, and it had the ports on the side, so you just take off the side of your case. There are the ports, and you plug them right in. Because traditionally, the ports to plug in your cables to the power supply are always like on the opposite end of like the power cord. So you have to always kind of like jam it in there in a weird angle. And I was like, dude, that is genius. Why has nobody ever done that? That's like amazing. But yeah, anyway, it was a great experience. He can say now that he's built his own gaming computer. It was. I was kind of disappointed in the case, though, because I thought it came with RGB fans. You know, he's a kid; he likes all the RGB stuff, it's all flashy. But it did not come with any fans, so I guess we're gonna have to get those separately.
But it had RGB
No, it did not have any RGB
at all.
No,
Oh,
it was
you
like a
dropped
black
the ball
case.
there, dude.
Yeah, it had a window and everything, but the fans were supposed to light up. I mean, it's a nice looking case, but yeah, it's too bad.
Those fans won't be pricey, right? RGB fans.
It depends on which ones you get. Like Corsair, they've got some fantastic RGB fans, but they're a little pricey. First thing he installs, of course, is Minecraft because he loves Minecraft.
Yeah.
Kids that age. But yeah, that was cool, man. It was, and I was really surprised at the performance of the 5600G, the AMD CPU. It's like one of those APUs with a like CPU, GPU. You technically don't need a graphics card, but I mean, it can run like Assassin's Creed at like 40, 50 frames a second. Like, that's pretty good for not having a graphics card.
Yeah.
So, yep, that was cool.
Nice, man. I'm glad it worked out. Glad he wasn't a little shit, you know?
No, he's totally into it, and he's probably gonna go. I think him and my friend are gonna be going on April 8th to DreamHack. So, are you going?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That reminds me, I gotta buy my ticket.
Awesome. Yeah, do it before the price goes up. But April 8th, DreamHack, we're gonna be there, folks.
Cool. All right.
Nice.
Speaking for, did you say Days? Oh yeah, you're gonna play Touch the Grass. Speaking for Bobby, Days, and myself, inscription tits.
Touch the grass. It sounds like a euphemism.
Yeah.
For something different.
Yeah, because what is it? Oh, grab ass. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Grass ass.
They're over there playing grab ass.
They're over there touching the grass.
Bye.